Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Thank you very much for joining us on day 3 of the first World Health City Forum. My name is Soa Kwon. It's a pleasure to meet you all again. I'm your MC for today's event. Let me greet you. Thank you very much. The forum, which started on the 20th, has finally reached the last milestone of this thrilling 3-day journey. Over the past few days, we have had passionate discussions and engaging Q&A sessions in over 50 sessions, in which more than 140 participants from more than 20 countries took part. So we extend our deepest gratitude to all those who have put in effort and hard work in this forum. The day 3 session will feature keynote speeches, roundtable discussions, and a closing ceremony. We kindly request your continued interest and support until the very end as we strive to achieve success until the very last moment. Now, before I introduce you to our first speaker, please check your interpretation devices once more. Channel 1 is for Korean and Channel 2 is for English. 네, 첫 연설 시작 전에 통역 수신기 안내 한 번 더 해드리겠습니다. 채널 1번은 한국어, 채널 2번은 영어입니다. All right, so first of all, we will have a short keynote speech from Boonfeng Phumalayasit, the Minister of Health of Lao PDR, on the topic of Innovative Asian Health Strategy, Envisioning Smart Health City. Starting from 2024, Laos will assume the role and responsibilities as the chair of the ASEAN. As the leader responsible for advancing the healthcare systems in ASEAN, Minister Boon Feng will share not only Laos's vision for smart healthcare system implementation, but also the future healthcare strategies for the entire ASEAN region. Although Minister Boon Feng originally planned to deliver his speech here at this forum venue due to scheduling conflicts with the Lao National Assembly, he had to send a pre-recorded video message. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us warmly welcome Minister Boon Feng with a big round of applause.
Distinguished guests, esteemed delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as we draw close this remarkable World Health City Forum 2023, I stand before you with a profound sense of gratitude and pride. This gathering has truly been a testament to the power of collective action and innovation in healthcare. On behalf of the Ministry of Health of Lao PDR, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to all the participant organizers and partners who have made this event a surrounding success. Throughout this insightful discussion and engaging presentations, we have witnessed the unwavering commitment of ASEAN nations toward achieving a healthier and more prosperous future for our people. The exchange of ideas, experiences, and best practices has fostered an atmosphere of collaboration and mutual learning, strengthening our resolve to tackle the pressing health challenges that lie ahead. Amidst them, of the innovative ASEAN healthcare strategy, we have explored a wide range of topics from digital health technologies to sustainable healthcare system, from equitable access to quality care to the role of public-private partnerships. This discussion has provided us with invaluable insight and innovative approaches that will shape the future of healthcare in our region. I particularly delighted to announce that Laos will assume the ASEAN chairmanship in 2024. This privilege comes with great responsibility, and we are fully committed in advancing to share goals of the ASEAN community, particularly in the field of healthcare. We firmly believe that health is fundamental human right, and we will spare no effort in ensuring that every individual in our regions has access to affordable, high quality, and healthcare services. As we embark on this journey, we recognize the need for collaborative action, and no nation can address the complex challenges of health alone. We will work closely with our ASEAN counterparts, international organizations, and development partners to enhance regional cooperation, knowledge sharing, and capacity building. In our role as ASEAN chairman, we will prioritize strengthening healthcare systems, promoting health equity, and leveraging digital innovation to enhance the accessibility, affordability, and quality of healthcare services. We will foster partnership with stakeholders from the public and private sectors, academia, civil society, and community to create an enabling environment for transformative change. Furthermore, we will embrace a comprehensive approach that encompasses not only disease prevention and treatment, but also the promotion of mental health, well-being, and resilience. We will invest in human resources for health, ensuring that our healthcare workforce is adequately trained, motivated, and equipped to address current and future health challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this World Health City Forum, let us carry forward to spirit of collaboration, innovation, and determination that has defined our discussion. Together we have the power to shape a brighter future for healthcare in ASEAN and beyond. I am confident that by working hand in hand, we can build resilient health system, achieve universal health coverage, and ultimately improve the lives of our people. Let us seize this opportunity to transform challenges into opportunities and turn aspiration to action. Thank you once again for your active participation and unwavering support. May our collective efforts bring us closer to the vision of a healthier, more prosperous ASEAN community. Thank you, and may you all have a safe journey back to your respective destination. Thank you.
Let's give Minister Boomfeng a big round of applause for opening up today's event with that speech. And also, we wish him all the best for next year as Laos takes on the role as the chair of the ASEAN. And next, we have a keynote speech from Professor Colin Jansen. Dr. Colin Jansen is a full professor of ecotoxicology at Ghent University in Belgium. Professor Jansen is a renowned expert in the field of environmental health and has provided independent scientific service to numerous international organizations, such as the OECD, EU, and WHO. In particular, he has been involved in collaborations with Incheon, the City of Water and the Sea, to open a branch of the Interfaculty Consortium Marine U Gent on Ghent University Global Campus. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause to Professor Colin Jansen.
Greetings to you all. Thank you for being here. Dear Chairman of the Executive Committee, Professor Hong, dear President of GVC, Professor Han, dear delegates, dear colleagues, friends, it is an honor and a pleasure for me to share with you some ideas of what I envision to be a healthy city, a smart, healthy city. I would like to draw your attention to the subtitle I have, which is The Case of the Missing Ocean. Where is the ocean in the cities? So it's a bit of an atypical topic I chose, but I hope I can inspire you to think about the ocean when we think about healthy cities. When I was invited to this forum, I was the bluefish. This is how I felt. This is not my environment. I'm a marine scientist, I'm a marine ecologist, so I felt a little bit the odd one out. You're all experts in city development, management, science. I deal with the blue ocean. So I thought, what can I do to inspire these people to think about the ocean when they're developing cities? So I needed to look up. I had heard about smart cities and sustainable cities, but I needed to look up. So I did a little research. I needed to look up what's going on in these smart cities. I learned that a smart city is a modern urban area based on technology. That smart cities collect data. And that data is used to manage things, resources and services. I said, hey, resources and services, I know this because in the ocean we have resources and services as well. So there might be something there. A smart city, a healthy city, monitors and manages all kinds of things like transport and water supply works and waste. So it's an IT-based city. That's what I learned. Internet of Things. Well, we use, also in ocean sciences, we use the internet and Internet of Things to look below the seas. So that's the connection. Now, then I thought, okay, but a smart city, a sustainable city, what are the city limits? So here we see a map of the ancient area. And when I looked it up, I noticed that most healthy and, well, smart and healthy cities, also sustainable cities, stop at the ocean. It's like a barrier. This is a straight line you see behind me, the straight blue line. The ocean is not included. As far as I could ascertain, the ocean is not included in the smart city. And what is the area of ocean we should include in the smart city concept, or in the healthy city concept? Is it this area, or is it this area? To me, as a marine scientist, the city does not stop at a seawall. It does not stop at a dike we build. The sea is part of the city. So that's the main message I want to give to you today. Obviously, I'll talk a little bit more about the ocean, my passion. So the ocean is around us, especially in Korea. You have 2,500 kilometers of coastline, so there's lots of ocean and seas, lots of cities scattered around Korea, which are located on the coast. So can we incorporate some of the services, some of the technology that we use in the oceans? Can we also include that in the smart city concept to develop this further? This is what I'm going to explore with you today. Well, before I do that, I'd like to remind you of a few things you probably know already, but still it's important to put them back on the table in this context. There's only one ocean, At high school, we learned that there are 5 oceans, five, but they're all connected. So the water is one. We have one ocean, and we should have one health. And with one health, I mean that the health of the humans is connected to the ocean and vice versa. This is a atypical map you probably have not seen, or not many of you have seen a map like this. This is what we call the Spillhouse projection. In essence, we look at the bottom of our planet. So we're looking, what's in the middle is Antarctica. And when you look to our planet like this, you clearly see that it's all connected. My country is somewhere on your, I need to look, on your right-hand side, and your country is somewhere on the left-hand side. One ocean, one health. Now, if we further zoom into where do people live, lots of people live on the coasts. This is the distribution of the main megacities and other large cities. And you can see this, they are all on the coasts. They are near to the ocean. 40% of the world population lives within 100 kilometers from the coastline. It is expected that in another 20 or 30 years, this will go up to 60 to 75%. So we all want to be near the ocean. And the reason for that is historical, but also because there are many resources there. We have transport, we have food, we can use the ocean in different ways. So, kind of summary from a marine scientist's point of view, the oceans are vast. You know since high school that 70% of the Earth's surface is ocean. It holds 97% of all the water on this planet. It harbors the most diverse ecosystems and supports economies. Organisms living in the ocean provide us with atmospheric oxygen. But the ocean also gives us other services, like 90% of the excess heat, climate change, is absorbed by the ocean. If that would not be the case, our planet would be 10 to 15 degrees centigrade higher right now. Nearly 1/3 of the carbon dioxide is absorbed by the ocean. So the ocean is our friend. It provides us with services. It gives, it gives, it gives. But we can't keep on taking from it. Oceans are also essential to human health and well-being because they provide food. They're a source for multiple essential medicine. They have a traditional cultural value, and also they're important for some special populations. Let us look at what the ocean does for us. And you can see immediately in green benefits, it gives us services, things that we can use, but it also poses threats to us in red. So if we look at the threats, the big one is pollution from all kinds of things, including radionuclides, biological hazards such as harmful algal blooms, climate change. But the benefits on the other side are also very clear. It gives us ecosystem services, things that we are not aware of, but things like primary production of oxygen, waste remediation. They break down some of the chemicals we put into the ocean. The ocean is also a source of marine drugs. And it helps us with our health, and I'll come back to that, in various ways, both physical health and mental health. And that's the word blue gym you see there. We're only starting to discover how much the ocean does for us, does for our health. But this is what we do to the ocean. We pollute with all kinds of things. And we do that near the places we live, the cities. So coastal cities are very important for affecting human health and well-being. Only through this, but also to not only through this, but also through various other ways. This is what I just explained: pollution with pharmaceuticals, plastics, pesticides. We overfish, and we have the whole problem of climate change with temperatures rising, salinity changes, acidification, and so on. This is the ocean we want. So the previous slide was the ocean we have or we are making. This is the ocean we want. A healthy ocean, because we know healthy oceans will mean healthy people living near the ocean. I will not explain this complete picture, but I'd like to show you a few of the items, how the human health is connected to a healthy ocean. And there are two circles there, main circles, but at the top circle, you can see there's societal issues and political decision making. What politicians and governments decide what's going on actually in the larger balloon you see there. Because those decisions will decide what humans do. And humans will create pressures. These pressures, on the one hand, will relate to socioeconomic factors and the poverty-disease nexus. On the other hand, they will affect the environment. So you see the connection, you see all these arrows coming to the middle of this slide, being adverse impact on human health. That's what the ocean can do for us, both in a positive way and a negative way. So a simpler version of that previous picture is this one. We have marine environmental health. We have human health and well-being. But we also have economy. We need to produce things, we need to make things, we need to make money. The size of these different balloons and the way they overlap will determine our health. Our health, the health of the ocean, and our future, in fact. This is the OHH, which is there in the middle. It's oceans and human health. And that's what I want to impress upon you today, is we need to find the right balance between these three balloons, the right overlap, to get to this human health, well-being, human health, predictive healthcare, if you want to. Not predictive, but predictive. Anyhow, I was confused again. But that's what I want to illustrate today, is because we live on the coast, and we have the ocean right next to each other, or right next to us, we need to think about how do we use the services that the ocean provides us. How can we incorporate this into our city concept? Because 40% of us are living there, and that will be 70%. And for the time being, as far as I could ascertain, we're not doing that. We stop at the water. That's the city limit. And we're not doing well. The picture with all the bad things, with the pollutants and things like that. Well, we're using a lot of the resources of the ocean, and we're using them in an increasing way. You can see this is almost all exponential curves for marine agriculture, for hydrocarbon collection, deep sea minerals are there, cruise tourism. You can see it's all exponential. From the 1970s to 80s, we're starting in an exponential phase. So we're using more and more and more of these resources. So in fact, we're stressing the environment more and more. In other words, we are stressing ourselves more and more, because one ocean, one health. We thought we had a crisis with COVID-19. It was like a tsunami. we were concerned about that. We said, be sure to wash your hands and all will be well. That's how we handled that. Or we, we had some other measures, sure, but we thought this was a really mega risk to the human populations. Compared to what is coming, and I don't want to be a doom thinker, but compared to what is coming, the COVID was really a small problem. Because we are faced with climate change, we have proof of this every day, and it will increase more and more. We're also facing a biodiversity collapse, so less species of animals and plants on the earth. And you might say, I don't care about animals and plants. Well, animals and plants are the machinery of oceans, and without that machinery, you won't have the services, and these services will not come to us in the one ocean concept. So biodiversity and climate change are very important aspects that we should consider, not only for the ocean, but also for our human health. And the way we can try to calculate, manage main processes in the world, also ocean processes, is the concept of planet boundaries. Now, what are planet boundaries? It's a concept which was developed about 15 years ago, to 2008, I think. And planet boundaries is for 9 main processes, and they're mentioned here: climate change, novel entities, and so on, to quantify how much can the world, of which 70% is ocean, how much can it carry? What's the carrying capacity of our planet for each of those processes? This is a model. These are mathematics, science behind it. So we can we can estimate, are we exceeding the carrying capacity of our planet, or do we still have some reserve? Are we not at the limit yet? Well, you can see this is the latest paper on these planetary boundaries, ocean boundaries. You can see that we are exceeding them for at least 5 processes. The green means we're in the safe operating space, we're under this carrying capacity, we're still okay. The red, the orange and the reddish colors demonstrate that we have exceeded them. In fact, we're using too much of our planet. And you see that we have this for biosphere integrity, which is biodiversity. We have exceeded the planetary boundary. We have exceeded it for novel entities. What are novel entities? That's chemicals in the environment, that's pollution. We have exceeded it for the biochemical flows. What is that? That's nitrogen and phosphorus, which makes ecosystems unhealthy. So you see, we have a way of calculating what can we do. And what I propose here is, let's use this worldwide model and apply it to a city. Let's measure and estimate the carrying capacity of a city. With all its diversity, let's calculate how much we can do of what to make a sustainable, that's sustainability, a sustainable city. As far as I know, no city has done this before, made this kind of evaluation. Yes, we have already ways of trying to deal with the large array of things which face us. And that's why we have developed the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. There's 17, and one of them, only one of them, is a goal related to the oceans. All the others are land systems and people and so on. One is related to the ocean. But if you look closely to that one, then you see connections to all other 16. So changing the life below water, number 14, will change all the others as well. And we can do this this assessment at the city level. This is not something that we need to wait until governments or international communities do that. We can do this. We can have goals here to put in our city management and say, this is what we can carry in this city. No more. This is a proposal. Let's translate these into city goals. And the previous slide was a little bit deceiving because all the boxes were of the same size, implying, or at least indirectly implying, that they're all important, all as important. This is not true. If I reorganize these boxes, I come to this. I call this my wedding cake. There's a basis to the wedding cake. Without that basis, there will not be a second tier or third tier. And what's on the basis of that wedding cake? It's the biosphere. It's the 4 SDGs, which are related to providing as the basis for all the other things. So we have the biosphere, such as life below water, the oceans. And then when we have a healthy first tier, we can go to the second tier, which is society, and the third tier, which is economy. Sometimes if you look at the goals, how they're implemented in certain countries, they implement it in the other way, or the other way around. They start with economy and society, because now I will be very obnoxious, because economy and society makes voters go the right way. But we need to start with the biosphere. Without that, without a healthy ocean, a healthy terrestrial environment, we do not have a society. We do not have an economy. So it's important, and we can do that at city level. We should do that at city level. Now, I'll come to some proposals. I'm very grateful to the first speaker that he didn't use all of his time, because I knew I would need some more time. I can be relaxed, I think. But some proposals for smart and sustainable cities. And the message is, let the ocean in. Let the ocean into the cities. You see a cartoon here, and we have agriculture people saying, well, there's all kinds of things happening. There's climate change coming our way, acidification, sea level rise. We need to do something because it's approaching our sea farm. And we need to think about it as opportunities. There's opportunities and challenges in our mitigation strategies, for example, for climate change. So this is a complex picture of something very simple. We need to do something. And the higher up you go, the slower it goes. We have 190 countries deciding and ratifying sometimes goals. They go back to their own country, and it's not implemented. I think a city forum, a city environment is a place where you can implement things. There's a short chain of command where you can implement things, where you can do these things and don't have to wait for national or international conventions and so on. So that's my plea. Let's do something. And what can we do for a city? Well, we know that temperatures are rising. Heat waves, I think only here, well, only last year, here there was a heat wave or a series of heat waves which was of a certain magnitude. Well, I'm showing you that piece of research here by some Chinese colleagues of the heat island effect as a function of the distance from the coast. So here we are at the coast, and in the Y-axis, it's temperature increase, heat island effect. What do we see is at the coast we have, let's say, 0 or less. Influence of the ocean, temperatures is low, 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 low. It increases as you move away from the ocean. You see at 2,500 meters, 2.5 kilometers, there is a serious effect of the ocean on the temperature in the city. This continues, but now at a slower rate, it's getting more flat, up to 9,500 meters, meaning 10 kilometers approximately. So the ocean influences the city up to 10 kilometers inland. It decreases the temperature. It reduces the effect of the heat waves. On what is that dependent? Well, it's dependent on how the city is organized, what the structure of the city is, how the wind, how the ocean can get in. So I think this is an important message. Instead of pushing out the ocean, we need to pull the ocean into the city. How about being very crazy and saying, let's make some additional creeks which go inside the city. Let's get rid of a few streets and put a natural creek there. You get the ocean in, you get the wind in, you get the cooling effect in. I know we try to do that already. We make little ponds and parks, but I think if you let the ocean in, you will have a much higher effect. So that would be my proposal for pulling in the ocean. So the conclusion of this paper was an important factor in mitigating urban heat islands is the ocean, the proximity to the coastline. The greatest cooling potential was found at a distance of 2.5 kilometers, but the effect was still measured at 10 kilometers. It's a big area that you can cool down with the ocean. The urban form was an important factor in the model they developed, but you see my recommendations, which I already expressed. My second and last case for today. Blue cities, the proximity of oceans, can increase our health. So we're talking about blue, healthy cities. We have known for a long time that the sea provides benefits to the health of people. They knew this in Egypt. There's books which describe ocean therapy by Egyptians. But an important one is Airs, Waters, and Places, which was written 4 centuries before Christ by Hippocrates, the Greek philosopher. And there was a revival of ocean therapy in the 18th and 19th century with the establishment of sanatoria, and you have some historical pictures from Western Europe, where they actually put the patients outside for them to enjoy the sea breeze with all associated effects. People might say, yes, but this is hocus pocus. No, there is lots of evidence that coastal populations are healthier than inland populations. The incidence of cancer in human populations near the coast and inland, well, at the coast, you find less cancers. That's been well documented. What could be the cause? For a long time, people have said it's the iodine in the air that does it. That's not true. We know that. So it must be something else. Now, what causes this healthier environment near the coast? And if that is the case, can we introduce that into the cities, into healthy cities? What causes it? We need to go back to the biology. What's in the oceans? All these critters are in the oceans. All these critters make biomolecules to function, but also biomolecules to fight, chemical warfare. We call them, with a difficult word, secondary metabolites. So they make molecules to make sure they survive and can kill a competitor and so on. These molecules at the end of the day, end up in the water. They float around. So our hypothesis was, 7, 8 years ago, these biomolecules, some of these biomolecules get into the air, into the coastal air, into the sea air. And we breathe this sea air, and it has an effect on us. So the sea air is healthy because of the biomolecules produced by these critters. And we have some evidence for that already. Various types of these critters have been tested in the lab, so not the air, but just extractions from these critters, algae, sea plants, some unicellular algae. They've been extracted, looked at the extract, and looked at the effect of the extracts, and you could see all kinds of good things. Anti-diabetic, anti-cancer, antioxidant, all good things. So we know, and that's a lot of our industry already, we know that these organisms produce good things, good biomolecules. Now, could it be that these biomolecules we extract in factories and labs and use, you can buy them in the shop now and use, could it be that they also get in low dose concentrations in the atmosphere and we breathe them? Well, that's a piece of research I would like to illustrate to you. And the way they could get in the air is, look, all these animals are there, but what we have on the surface of the ocean is what we call a microlayer. It's a fatty layer of fats. Now, these biomolecules like to sit in the fat. So what happens is the biomolecules are made by the organisms and then are concentrated in this microlayer, in this fatty microlayer. And what happens then is that the surface of the ocean is, of course, not flat, but it's moving, it's making bubbles, it's making aerosols. So this microlayer is injected into the air and floats around, and we can breathe it, low doses of these biomolecules. That was the hypothesis. This is the mechanism. So these film drops, jet drops, these aerosols, which are made through the action of the ocean. And you get these bubbles, which are composed of this microlayer, this fatty structure with these biomolecules in there. Nice theory. Is this true? Well, yes. We know this from the negative effects we have from organisms in the ocean. And some of the negative effects are these: red tides, green tides, and also brown tides. And what are these? Well, if the water quality is bad, you have 1 or 2 species of organisms, mostly algae, which dominate. And they get very important, and they color the water. These algae contain certain toxins. These toxins, through the action of the waves, get in the air. And what happens is, if there is a red tide like this with these toxic algae, they get in the air, and these beaches have to be closed. So we know this from a health perspective, that bad things can happen. But our hypothesis is, if we have other algae, other organisms making good molecules, that could be good things that happen to us. So my colleague, Professor Asselman, and her team investigated that, both in the lab, where we made waves. We added certain algae, good algae, made waves and collected the air on top of the water. That's the aquarium and all these difficult things that you see there. But we also went out to the beach and collected air like this. You can see this is a beach. What you see in front there are some suction devices just to suck up the air. You suck up the air, you get it into these filters. These filters you can then take to the lab and do tests with them. This is what we did. So these 2 lines of evidence for healthy air, and about 5 years of research that's still ongoing, compressed into 1 slide, is this. What we did is we took these samples of sea air, which was now concentrated on these filters. So we extracted them again, and we dosed them to lung cells, human lung cells. We cultured cells in the lab, we dosed them to lung cells, and Professor Assman and her team then looked at the RNA through techniques such as RNA sequencing, looked at what kind of metabolism pathways, as we call them, in the lung cells are changed through the addition of these aerosols. And we were particularly interested in the mTOR pathway. I will not explain what the mTOR pathway is, but it's a cell signaling pathway which is important for a healthy cell. So we looked at the mTOR pathway of these lung cells, and what did we see? We saw that the mTOR pathways was reduced. Now, reduction of the mTOR is good. That means your cell is healthy. That means that there's less stress and so on. Because we know when you have mTOR activity, which is high, you get problems, all kinds of health problems, such as cancer and things like that. And we also saw that this inhibition of the mTOR pathways was in fact very similar. The inhibition of the mTOR pathway by the aerosols was in fact very similar to the inhibition of the mTOR pathway, which was induced through certain anti-cancer medicines. So did we find a new medicine? No, we haven't identified it yet, and so on and so on. It's just on cells. We haven't tested it in vivo on humans, but there's evidence that there's something in the air which makes us healthier, which can explain the data, the epidemiological data that we see that healthy coastal populations, coastal populations are healthier. So another reason for, a long story, sorry, but I had to do this because we're rather proud of this work. Another reason for letting in the ocean air. We will make healthier people just by them walking around, walking on the beach close to the sea, because it contains already some medicine. So preventive medicine, that's what we could find. That's the word I didn't find 15 minutes ago. So let me give you some conclusions. Healthy coastal cities, healthy coastal and sustainable cities should consider that the city doesn't stop at its limits, which is the dike, but it continues with part of the ocean. There's an interaction, a dynamic interaction between marine and terrestrial environments and the city. It's not just the city with all its technology. We need to consider that we need the oceans for biodiversity and food security, because we rely heavily on seafood. So we need a healthy ocean to have healthy people in cities. On the climate issue, we have seen that oceans, healthy oceans, are natural climate regulators. A healthy ocean means health to coastal populations. Additionally, a healthy coastal city also should include natural barriers against the things which are coming. This tsunami of sea level rise and all that kind of thing. Well, natural systems such as marshlands and mudflats are a natural protection for cities against these threats. The recreational and therapeutic value, I think I have explained this with the case study. We know that oceans for recreational opportunities, but also for other activities, increase our mental health and physical health through, amongst others, stress reduction. Obviously, there are economic opportunities. We have medical resources, so the biomolecules we can put into drugs. Air quality, I think I explained that to a large extent in the previous case study we talked about. Oceans are also important for culture and spiritual significance. They play a central role in tradition, rituals, and identity and the sense of community. We shouldn't forget that. That's mental health. We should take care of the mental health of people living in cities. And then, as usual with the scientist, a plea for research, research into blue health. On all these aspects I talked and a few illustrations I gave, I think we really need to understand better the health benefits associated with oceans, also oceans in or next to the city. These are all opportunities we have to build healthier, more sustainable cities that I hope that we can do together. So my take-home message for you is, do I have the solution? No. Because the next big thing is a lot of small things. This is something which is on our university building. There's no silver bullet. We can't do everything at the same time, but we can discover and implement and act. And I think that's what we need. This is my take-home message for you. There's one ocean, one health. We have to let the ocean into the cities in one way or other, through air or creeks or whatever, to get to sustainable smart cities. And we hope to be able to contribute to that because, as I said in the introduction, we're very happy that we can announce that we, together with the colleagues of Ghent, which are united in what we call Marina to Ghent, that's our home campus, that's in Belgium. Well, we've been supported by the Korean government to do a similar type of research here in Incheon. So we have a Marina to Ghent Incheon now, or Korea. And one of the things we will do is certainly look at city health and the connection with ocean health. That's certainly one of the research topics that we want to develop. Thank you for your attention. I know I've talked much longer than I could, but it's still not 10 o'clock, so I'm happy that my predecessor didn't use all of his time. Thank you for your attention, and see you next year.
Thank you very much to Professor Colin Jansen for your insights, and you provided us with lots of food for thought on how to think about oceans when developing sustainable cities. Thank you very much. Let's give him another big hand. And now, finally, we have reached the last key session of our 3-day journey. As we started with the theme, globalization of risks, how to address the mega risks on the opening day, we now aim to summarize and wrap up the forum with a final question and conclusion on how to secure humanity's well-being in the face of mega risks. During the preparation for the roundtable, we would like to invite Jeremy Rifkin, president of the Foundation on Economic Trends, who has actively participated in the key sessions and speeches online over the past 3 days, to join us for the roundtable as well. So let's see if we are now connected to President Rifkin. So we're going to get the roundtable prepared. And while we do that, let me give you another information on what we're expecting today. After the roundtable, we're going to have an award ceremony, and then finally, we're going to conclude the closing ceremony with the Incheon Declaration. So we're going to get the stage prepared. So ladies and gentlemen, please bear with us just a few moments until we get started.
Closer. Experience something new. Feel the heartbeat in Incheon. In Incheon, a city stepping out into the world, you can meet change, the world, and the future ahead of others. Experience it. Incheon, your global business hub. Capturing global attention as a business-friendly city, Incheon is equipped with excellent business infrastructure that spans across industries, from cutting-edge facilities to a robust logistics system. They create a perfect stage for faster and more convenient one-stop business solutions. Located in the heart of the Northeast Asian Economic Bloc, which comprises 20% of the world economy, and in the center of South Korea's capital region, where 2/3 of the country's population reside, Incheon is an ideal location, well connected with 147 major cities of over 1 million population within a 3-hour flight. It provides the perfect conditions for businesses, both domestically and internationally. Incheon, where all ways are connected through sky, sea, and land, offers a wide range of industrial logistics, encompassing domestic and global markets, as it serves as a hub for the infrastructures and logistics essential for businesses. Moreover, Incheon is the city that the world's renowned global companies and Korea's prominent businesses have chosen. Here in Incheon, grab the business opportunities over beyond imagination. Experience it, the new breeze of business in Incheon. Kaeong Techno Valley is a transportation hub conveniently connected to the Incheon International Airport Expressway and the first Capital Region Ring Expressway, allowing quick access to Seoul and the metropolitan area. We are creating an all-in-one city where work, residence, and culture converge. We will foster future-oriented industries like UAM, ICT, and digital media content. Kaeong Industrial Complex, which connects Kaeong Techno Valley and Seoul Industrial Complex, holds the promise of generating synergy effects. In the future, the development of a knowledge industry center will expand opportunities for small and medium-sized businesses, as well as young entrepreneurs, transforming it into a specialized industrial complex in which everyone can participate. Namdong Urban High-Tech Industrial Complex, closely located to the 2nd and 3rd Gyeongin Expressways, enjoys convenient transportation network, including Incheon International Airport and Incheon Port. Collaboration with the Namdong Urban High-Tech Industrial Complex can also maximize synergy effects. By establishing a differentiated semiconductor innovation ecosystem, we aim to become a hub for advanced manufacturing and the knowledge information industry. Namdong EcoSmart Valley, adjacent to the 2nd Gyeongin Expressway, offers great accessibility. Building on this advantage, it will provide new business opportunities for tenant companies by collaborating with Namdong Indus Park, focused on manufacturing, and Namdong Urban High-Tech Industrial Complex, which is now shifting toward future-oriented industries. Experience it, Incheon Free Economic Zone, the role model of a world future city. Incheon Free Economic Zone is divided into 3 districts, Songdo, Yeongjong, and Cheongna. Tailored projects are being developed in each district, creating the optimal business triangle by harnessing the unique characteristics of each area. Songdo International City takes the lead in attracting high-tech industries from both domestic and international markets by leveraging the world's strongest IT expertise in the Knowledge and Information District. We are constructing an optimal cluster system for technology exchange and productivity enhancement, with advanced industry clusters that converge IT and BT, as well as research support complex. Yeongjong International City, equipped with a world-class international airport, is the ideal hub for aviation, logistics.
All right, we are going to proceed now with the roundtable. So would please all the participants for the roundtable now come up onto the stage. Let's welcome them with a big round of applause. All right, let's welcome them once more with a big hand. So as we're now ready for the round table, I wonder if we are now connected to President Rifkin, who is going to join us for the roundtable, as far as I understand. Let me first introduce the moderator then for this roundtable. From this point on, Tae-Jun Han, the president of Ghent University Global Campus, will lead the roundtable discussion. And I will first hand the microphone over to President Han, and then later we will see if we are going to get connected with President Jeremy Rifkin. So, President Han, the floor is yours. I think I hear some sound in the background. Maybe we are connected.
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hello again. Okay, let's welcome him with a big round of applause.
Thank you.
All right, and now, President Han, the floor is yours.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Well, welcome to the World Health City Forum Roundtable. And as we all know, and as we are here this morning, the World Health City Forum has been taking place right here in Songdo, Incheon, South Korea, with participants from across the world sharing their perspectives and ideas on global risks and how to create a health city that can effectively respond and adapt to the current risks and can thrive. And our discussion has spanned the crucial themes of health, cities, and sustainability, and our engagement. And today's roundtable is an opportunity to revisit our fruitful discussions made so far and outline actionable steps for the future. And I am so honored to have four distinguished guests on the panel today. They are all experts in business and economy and politics and administration and marine science and environment and valorization and medical and environmental health, who will share their insights on global risks and strategies for creating a safe, resilient, and sustainable future. So first, I'd like to introduce today's panelists. First, perhaps Dr. Jeremy Ripkins, who is joining us online. Dr. Ripkin, can I call you by your first name, Jeremy? Just to make the roundtable in a bit friendly atmosphere. And Jeremy,
Yes.
yeah, would you please brief yourself, introduce yourself briefly?
All right. Jeremy Rifkin. I live in Washington, D.C. in the United States, and I'm actively engaged in countries around the world on making the transition from a dying age of progress to an emerging age of resilience and a new industrial revolution, smart industrial revolution.
Okay, thank you. And on my left side, Professor Colin Jansen. Colin, also, would you please introduce yourself?
Yes? Okay. Good morning again. I'm still sweating from my presentation, so I'll keep it short. I'm Colin Jansen, professor at Ghent University, professor of ecotoxicology and applied marine ecology. I've published quite a lot on this, and it's part of the passion is working in an interdisciplinary way, so bringing pieces of things that I don't know into my field and the other way around. I think that's the way forward. Also for the team of this symposium, of this forum, I think interdisciplinarity is crucial. That we think about that and that we move ahead with improving our cities, improving the environment, improving the ocean through that type of science. So ocean and human health is important.
Okay, thank you. Next, Dr. Bima Arya Suigirato. Okay.
My name is Bimaria. I'm the mayor of Bogor. I'm responsible for 1.1 million people in my city. And my professional background is lecturer and researcher. I'm actually a political scientist. So I have to learn so many things having experienced pandemic. Actually, during the pandemic, I was the, the first person in my city who was tested positive COVID-19 after I returning from the trip overseas.
Okay.
So it changed me the way I see the world and the way I, formulate policies.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. And lastly, Professor Yun Chul Hong, who is the chairman of the organizing committee of this forum. Would you please introduce yourself briefly?
Thank you. I'm Yun Chul Hong, the professor of Seoul National University, College of Medicine, and president of Korean Society for Preventive Medicine. My expertise is environment health. The most importantly, I'm the currently serving as chair of executive committee of this World Health City Forum. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, before diving into serious discussions, perhaps let's lighten up the mood for this roundtable with quick icebreaker. So, does anyone on the panel have a pet? Bima, you have. Okay, no, not iPad, pet, P-E-T, dog or cat. Colin, you? No, no. You have cat. Okay, good. Bima, this is a question to you. Well, if your cat could talk, what would he or she say to you?
Thanks for everything.
Really? Are you sure?
She could possibly say that.
Okay,
Because
okay.
we have done so many things
Okay.
for her.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, perhaps next question goes to Jeremy, to you. You know the genie, I mean, coming from a magical lamp, right? A giant spirit. Genie, you don't know?
Genie, yes.
Genie, okay, so if genie um, grant you a wish, what is it?
For this beautiful living planet in a dark universe to continue to flourish so that future generations, not only of our species, but our fellow creatures can enjoy the incredible experience of being alive. This would be a really important step. I'm hoping that this planet will continue to flourish for future generations. Not just our species, but our fellow creatures.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope Genie can do it not only for you, but for all humanity. Okay, the next question perhaps goes to Colin. What advice would you like to give to your 20-year-old self? Colin, why don't you use your microphone?
First of all, that I should have studied somewhat harder because I didn't do that at the moment, but still, it worked out somehow. No, the advice I would give is kind of follow Jeremy. We need to, and I would have said that to myself, so probably then I would have studied harder and perhaps try to influence positively people somewhat more than I have done in my academic career. But the same things, we're just custodians of this planet, and we need to give it to our next generations in a healthy state and we're not doing that. So I think the 20-year-old would have probably tried also other ways to convince people that we should have acted then, 40 years ago, because we knew already that these things were going on. We haven't acted, so we need to act. We haven't acted appropriately, timely, fast enough. So the 20-year-old would have been very impatient to act, to make this a better world, preserve this world in the state that we got it from our parents and perhaps a few generations before.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that advice, I think, is the one we must take while we are facing the so-called global risk these days. Okay, thank you very much. Last question goes to Yunchul. Okay, if you were invisible, what two things would you do?
I thought we are friends. I think this is a really provoking question to me. How can I get such a question? Invisible man with a powerful hand?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, so I think this forum and also the old people here has a wish to make a better world, better life, not just about health. So we want, as Dr. Lifkin said, we want to flourish. So that is actually goal, not just personal. Actually, that is from our biological instinct. So if I have an invisible hand with an invisible body with a powerful hand, probably I will not correct everything to the right, but I want to make people gather together to defend the threat, to flourish.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you very much. I think the atmosphere here is a bit more conducive to our dialogue. So I would like to put my first question to actually Yoon Chul, who is the chairperson of the organizing committee. And actually, I was going to ask him about the motivations of this forum when he initiated it. But just before coming up to the stage, he asked me to ask him to tell about green space. So could you tell us about the green space?
Yeah, because actually I feel a kind of urgency to balance the argument because Jeremy Rifkin is a strong advocate for the blue planet. So as he talked yesterday and the day before, he argued for the black planet. Actually, he said that our Earth is full of waters. And Professor Janssen also argued that blue healthy city, and he also argued that with a scientific basis about how beneficial the ocean is. So I felt that, what about the greenness? So where is the greenness? Actually, the greenness is a really important part of our life. So actually, you know, the trees in the street and the forest and the park, they're all greenness, and the greenness should be a part of the city, not just for the scenery. That is very important for our health, for our existence, and actually that is also very important defense against climate change. There has a huge absorption power of carbon dioxide, and it's really home to fauna and flora. So we see there is so many biological species in the world. Many of them, probably you may think that in the ocean there are more, but I think that there are many biological species in the green space. We interact with them, particularly the microorganism. I want to stress about the microorganism. There are really fundamental basis for the microorganism live in green space. probably there could be some interaction from the microorganism from the blue space. There could be some interaction, but I think human body is a kind of media for the interaction of microorganism from the blue space, from the green space. So that is a fundamental basis for our health, for our existence. So actually, I have been research on the health benefit from the microorganism, particularly the microbiome in our body. We have a lot of the beneficial effect, mental and physical, a lot of the evidence. So I think green space should be regarded as a really important part of our argument. So that's why I think I felt a little urgency.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any?
Can I just add? I mean, there's no competition between blue and green space. With green spaces, we know already quite a lot of what the interactions are. So I mean, my background just commands that I talk about the oceans, which is the largest space that we have on this planet. So the blue marble that Jeremy talked about, and so that's also the 3D aspect of the oceans. I told you 4 kilometers on average depth, and so on and so on. So there's much more 3D volume than on land. But land is important, and I think the research has developed more there. But we're taking lessons from what we find in literature on green spaces and see if it also happens in blue spaces. So there's no competition. I would like to add, green spaces in cities are not just a park and some small trees. These are green spaces, but they're not living ecosystems. The functions that living ecosystems provide is not what you have here in Central Park. It might be in 50 years and 100 years, but it's not. I mean, it's nice to be there. I'm being obnoxious probably again, but so a living ecosystem is something else than just a few trees you plant in a certain space. It's very important, but we shouldn't use this as a green source to say, well, we have a healthy city because we have here and there some trees. So that's would be my argument. So natural living systems is something different than a few trees in a certain space. So that's my critique if I would have one. But you have to start somewhere. So, I mean, what I see here in Incheon, for example, is already a good start, but we need to evolve in that concept, I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Jeremy, do you have any comments to add to these discussions on the green space and blue space?
Well, only that I agree wholeheartedly. You know, this planet is a life planet. It relies on four spheres: the hydrosphere, the waters; the lithosphere, the plants, the animals, the trees, the soil; the atmosphere, the oxygen; the biosphere, which encompasses all of those spheres. But the waters are the animators. Without the water, you don't have the lithosphere. Without the water, you don't have the atmosphere, the oxygen. Without the water, you don't have the biosphere. Having said that, I think we need to understand that these spheres are processes and patterns. They're not objects and structures. This is where we've gotten it wrong, at least in the modern age, thinking them as objects and structures and kind of passive. They're patterns and they're forces, and they're constantly evolving. And our human life and our fellow creatures are totally adapted, whether we like it or not, to these other spheres. Our internal biological clocks and our cells, tissues, and organs are every moment in training to the rotation of the Earth every 24 hours, our passage around the sun every 365 days. We are nature, and I think there's a project that I mentioned in some of my talks I think is important. That's the Human Microbiome Project. Japan is there. Your scientists are along there with our NIH scientists here and scientists in the European Union and Korea, et cetera. And they're telling us that each of us is an ecosystem, not a metaphor. This is a big deal. We are literally an ecosystem, and that our body is taking in elements from the hydrosphere, the water molecules. We're taking in the elements from the lithosphere every moment. Then they go somewhere else. We're taking in elements from oxygen, and it goes somewhere else. And our body is full of other creatures. We've got millions of other creatures living in our bodies, archaeas and fungi and bacteria, and we've got only 40%, 44% of the human cells are there. The other 56% belong to these other creatures. We only have 20,000 genes in our body. There are millions of other genes. This is a really big story. This is a huge narrative shift that we are each an ecosystem interacting with the other ecosystem. Very powerful for young people. They don't have to be afraid of nature. And I think the last thing I would say about it, the reason I'm spending more time in Asia is if you look at the Asian religions and philosophies, it's very different in the West. Well, we think of nature as something to dominate. It's our Abrahamic traditions and our three religions. But in Asia, if you look at Shintoism and Confucianism and Taoism and Buddhism, they're all about harmonizing with nature. And the East is all about we are nature, we are indivisible. Now our scientists in Japan and Korea and the US and a few other places saying, yeah, that's actually real. So you have strayed like we have strayed. But we need to get this right, that for a young generation to know that they are an indivisible and crucial part of a living earth is a very powerful story and a narrative. This is what's going to get us through this partial extinction, hopefully, and on to the other side, and hopefully allow this planet to rewow so our species can adapt to it rather than adapting these spheres to our short-term interests.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it was about 20 to 30 years ago. I remember a book entitled as the Gaia's Era, which was written by a British scientist, James Lovelock. And in his book, he proposed that all organisms on Earth and their surrounding inorganic environments are very closely integrated to form almost a single organism. So he called the Earth as Mother Earth, and added that the Mother Earth has the capability to sustain and regulate itself. But he also gave a warning to all humankind that we are putting a lot of unspeakable pressure and even damage on this Mother Earth, so making her beyond her carrying capacity. And around 20 years ago, I also remember a essay and also film called An Inconvenient Truth, made by the former Vice President of the US, Mr. Al Gore. And he also warned to all of us that our planet is getting hotter, reaching at the point at which it cannot support and sustain itself. And we have a Korean proverb here saying that everything, even a mountain, can change within 10 years of time. That means 10 years' time is enough time to change everything. Do you know why I am saying this? Actually, I am asking why we are still facing the risks that have already warned about 21 or 2 or even 3 decades ago. So my second question for our panelists is, why do you think we are still facing these risks, and what solution there will be from your point of view? Okay, Jeremy, would you please?
I'm glad you asked this question. Here's the problem. We don't have a playbook. What's happening is that we are moving to the end game, not only the Industrial Revolution and the fossil fuel civilization, and this is 6,000 years of hydraulic civilization. trying to sequester and capture and commodify and consume the waters of the planet. It's pretty bold. And we're coming to the end game here. And we don't have a playbook because we're using the same set of assumptions, the same narratives, the same worldview to address this extinction event. And it's these assumptions that gave rise to it. It's the way we organize the science. It's how we approach governance. It's the way we manage our economy. It's how we think of our selfhood. All of these assumptions that have culminated after all this time in the age of progress has taken us to extinction. That playbook doesn't work. So I think what we really need to do now is understand the age of progress was the high point and now the end game for that period of history where we tried to adapt all of nature to us, the hydrosphere, the lithosphere, the atmosphere, biosphere, all of it commodified, propertized for one species. That's over. The age of resilience, we need to now adapt our species, as we did before the Holocene, to nature, but in a more scientific way, maybe a neo-animism. We need to use the best complex adaptive social ecological model. We need to use pragmatic approaches to science. We need to be able to adapt to where nature is taking us rather than attempt to adapt nature to where we'd like it to go. Common sense. And so I think the big thing is our school systems, our universities have to move into interdisciplinary academic studies so we're not siloed in our little worlds, so we can start working and sharing our knowledge across the physical sciences, the humanities, the cultural sciences, and develop a new ontology. We have to have clinical learning in the environment. We have to begin to rethink the relationship between the metaverse and the actual universe that we live in. There's a lot of stuff we need to do. And I think the first thing at hand is, and I agree with everybody that's talked tonight, the first thing at hand is we got to realize we are in an indivisible planet and we are an ecosystem within those ecosystems. Everything else follows from it.
Okay, thank you very much. Colin?
I agree with Jeremy, but I would like to add an additional thing. I think we need to change, that's fine. We've been saying that for a while. We've been saying that for quite a while, but we need to act, and also academia do that. We need to know this, we need to research this. What I would put forward is, we know already a lot that we can act upon. And it's time to act because we don't have another 400, 500 years to think about how to change. And I think at the basis, it's not the lack of science, it's the lack of action, and it's our paradigm of our economies that we need to rethink. And I think that's also what Jeremy perhaps alludes to. So it's the way we live and how we go about with our economies. It's us, it's the system, I would say. I mean, let me be a little bit provocative. The system of economies to which is coupled the system of action. And the system of action is through regulators, politicians, and so on. We know enough. And it's also to act now, to do certain things. What we do is we do things that, I alluded to this a little bit in my presentation, we do things at supranational levels, we all agree there, we go back home, and then back home, we don't take that to heart to do certain things. It's too slow. Perhaps I'm impatient, but I think if you look at the increases of the use of resources, this overshoot we're making, we can't afford to do this in another 100 years. So I would agree with everything Jeremy says, but the scale at which we look, this 6,000 years of civilization is fine, but we don't have another 6,000 years of civilization to repeat the same things. We know enough, that would be my thesis, is we know enough to act now to start acting now. And that would be a call to regulators, politicians, and things like that. Let's do something. And that's why I presented it here. At the city level, perhaps it's easier to get things done, to give examples of this change in economy and the way we go about with our environment. Uh, just an idea.
Thank you. Bima?
Yesterday, on the opening sessions, there was interesting discussions about the book written by Benjamin Barber, If Mayors Rule the World. So basically, the book is about the leadership style of some inspiring mayors around the globe. It's about leadership, it's about collaborations, it's about combining act and research, and so on and so forth. So the book is basically it's some sort of a Bible for mayors around the globe. I was given the book by my senior to start the job as a mayor almost 9 years ago. And from the book, we learned that yes, we are now having a very complicated challenge compared to some decades ago. No one can imagine the world would have been hit by a series of global pandemic when most of countries at the highest level of confidence for their health services. So the pandemic hit us when many global leaders have been highlighting the issue of climate change. They were talking about climate change. They were talking about, economic cooperations. They were talking about how to improve the mutual cooperations, international trade, and so on and so forth. But suddenly, the pandemic hit the world. So since then, we realized that the challenge today are more complicated than the challenge that we faced some decades ago. COVID has given us so many important lessons. How to focus on leadership style, how to do collaborations, how to appreciate the research, and how to focus on the issue of multidisciplinary approach. Because pandemic is not about health issues, it's also touch economic issues, it's also touch about psychological, demographical, and so on and so forth. For example, as I said, I myself is a political scientist, but I have to learn about medical issues in very technical things. I have to learn about, um, um, uh, the data informed by the statistics and so on and so forth. So it's about the leadership style who is uh, focusing on collaborations and adapting the government with a very uncertain situations. And we have to also aware that not many of leaders are aware of this global risk. For example, in my city, we have to convince our counterpart, our local parliament, about the need for allocating more fund for research, the need for accommodating the think tank research institutions in anticipating another pandemic, because our local counterpart, the local parliament, they are the one who approve the budget. But here in this venue, here in this very important event, well, there is no local parliaments or member of parliament involved. So I suggest in the futures, even it is important to accommodate, to invite also the parliaments, so they can have, a brighter perspective, a wider perspective in understanding the global risk challenge.
Okay, thank you very much. Yunchul?
Um, Before going to your question, actually, I agree with the Dr. Bima we need to get environmental parliament people because they politically represent the people there. So I think we can, actually I plan to invite parliamentary people next year forum. So thank you very much for your opinion. And going back to the question, that is a really another big question. I think Gaia theory is a really visionary theory to open our eyes and to change our views to see the world. I think the One Health idea, or One Ocean and One Health, is kind of a continuation of such an ideation to see the world. And as Dr. Lipkin argued that we are ecosystem, but we are part of the whole ecosystem, so we are really connected each other. So that is the basis of the Gaia theory. So I think that still we need to keep such a Gaia theory or ideation to see the world. And but your question is why we struggling with such an issue that I actually presented before, not long ago. But because we are ecosystem, we are one of the big ecosystem. So we Homo sapiens is one species living in the world. So we also have a nature of species in the world. That every species or has a every individual. Every individual has a desire to be better off than others. But collectively, the species also want to thrive together. So there is a selfishness and unselfishness together in the species. We also have such a selfishness and unselfishness. So probably we are all unselfish. Probably we could solve really short term. But we are body with selfish together. So we want to have more. Sometimes we want to eat more. So actually that is really devastating. But that is a nature. So we need to reconcile such a selfishness, the desire, but also unselfishness will of the community. So this forum actually is a kind of platform to talk about such things together and by have a consensus by educating other people to find solutions for such a risk or threat, such as from the climate change and air pollution and population change and pandemic. So we should put such an agenda on the table, understanding our nature. So it may not be solution. So I think it is okay for me at least not to find solutions now, but we need to keep this road to pursue our solutions together, considering our nature. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I fully agree with you, Yunchol, about how selfish we are. But we need to make a bit of adjustment to survive us all. Okay, perhaps our panelists' opinions come to a sort of temporary conclusion that any change cannot come about through only words, but through action. And also, we have already experienced the pandemic situation where the whole world worked together to overcome the pandemic successfully. And so, yes, in this sense, I really do hope this forum, actually I wish this forum to continue for 100 years from this year. But anyway, I wish this forum will become a platform for a call to action and also for a reform. You know, in Korea, we call the word reform as 개혁. 개혁 means peeling off your skin to make way for the new skin, right? So we need 개혁, which means I think we need to be willingness to even sacrifice ourselves to make a change and to make the world a better place. Okay. Well, yes, we know mega risks are real and active and pose a serious threat to the whole world. But this threat takes different forms in different cities, countries, in terms of their level of development and the intensity of their impacts and the capacity to deal with them. It may therefore be impossible to develop and implement a single policy for responding to and mitigating and adapting to mega risks. In this sense, we need to give a constructive advice to the hosting city, Incheon. So why don't we take an example of Incheon City, and which is a land reclaimed city and smart city and free economic zone, and above all, ocean city. So I'd like to ask you what you think is the best way for the city, Incheon City, to be prepared for current and future mega risk and to become an ideal model city that can orchestrate the future of cities in response to the current situation. Jeremy?
An important next step. So here's the issue. We have 11 trillion dollars have now come out of the fossil fuel industrial complex. That's a lot of money. And pension funds, 42 trillion, they're getting out. They don't want their workers to be hurt. Insurance funds, they're worried about climate disasters. They don't want to deal with it. They're getting out. So there's a lot of money. The technology is right. Solar and wind are the cheapest energies. It goes on and on. So the issue is, why aren't we scaling? Why aren't we scaling? And when you take a look at this, there are 12,000 mayors that have signed up for the climate accords. But in a lot of the places, not all of them, up to recently, you go visit these cities and they would show you their 10 electric buses, their 5 LEED buildings, and their bike paths, all pilots. So industry is saying, the financial community, to me, where are the scaled projects? They're not here. I'm going to give you an example of one place that's shown how it's done, and it can be done anywhere. We've been deploying with regions infrastructure projects across the EU, China, the US, and here's what we've learned. Let's take the region of France. Some of you know Haute-de-France. It's the industrial region of France. It's the Rust Belt, but it's the industrial region of France. It's 10% of the population. It's the home of Marie Le Pen and President Macron. Very mixed region. So a number of years ago, the premier of that region came to me and said, will you do a plan for our region to move us into this age of resilience, third industrial revolution? I said, absolutely no. A total waste of your time and mine. He said, why? Because that plan will end up in a pilot project and some minister will claim a victory in a press release and it'll be on to the next thing. It's a waste of everybody's time. But I said, if you want to go back to your region and you get every single mayor involved in saying they will be engaged in doing a roadmap to transition into this third industrial revolution, digitized culture, get all the universities, all the high schools, all the civil organizations, you get them all together and come back and then tell me you've done it. They never come back. Rarely do they ever come back. This particular premier came back months later and said, we're all ready. So I said, well, the thing is, you're going to develop the deployment, not us. And that is, we'll help you with expertise. We'll show you what's worked in other places, what's not. We'll look at all the narratives, but you're going to have to mobilize the entire region. They did 10 years, thousands and thousands and thousands of people on citizens committees. They had, aside from that, they took every single company into seminars, 3,000 companies, on moving to a third industrial revolution, age of resilience infrastructure. 26 universities came together to do interdisciplinary studies, clinical learning, 250 high schools. So what I'm saying is there's nothing magic about this. It was simply a premier in one region and the business community, the chambers of commerce, who put together citizens' assemblies for 10 years. And you can go and look on their website and see thousands of new jobs, new tech parks, everything. They just did it. There's nothing special about the industrial region of France. This can be done anywhere. And what it requires is that the governors of local regions and the mayors have to bring together the entire region in citizens' assemblies and spend years in developing the new approaches to education, economic opportunity, how to steward the ecosystem, et cetera. There's no magic in this. This is the kind of political engagement we need. And we need a new generation of mayors and governors of local regions. And the national governments, they can create the overall narrative and determine the codes, regulations, standards, and roadmap, but then the local regions have to tailor it to their specific ecosystems that they're responsible for as a commons. It's just, what I'm saying is so ordinary, but that was what needs to be done. So we need a new generation of political leaders, young ones in their 20s and 30s, who've got the energy, who've got the motivation and drive to bring their entire regions together to engage us. It's too big for just administrators. It requires the citizens' assemblies, like we have citizens' juries, that are engaged all the time.
Okay, thank you very much. What about you, Colin?
So I think your question was, what should we do in Incheon to prevent mega risks? Huh? It's a bit of a vague question, if I may say so, Professor Han, because what type of mega risk? I think this is something we need to think about. But anyhow, let's say in general, I'd like to go back to my last slide. A lot of small things is the next big thing. So I think there is already a lot of small things which can be done, which are not done. And why are they not done? Probably because of decision making again. I don't want to bash decision makers or politicians, but this is again the problem. I think you can set this type of programs. I think it's a wise idea to have a long-term roadmap. But there's priorities to that, and you can have some priorities where you can set and then say, this year we'll do this and that, because the technology is there. It doesn't have to be technology. It can be ecology. There's such a thing as building with nature. Not reclaiming land, but now preserving land, carbon sequestration. These are all things which can go in the equation, which I presented an hour ago, the equation where you can calculate how sustainable are you. If I'm talking about mega risks, for example, of climate change, you can calculate that. How sustainable am I? How much carbon am I reducing? Not just measurements of carbon, but also creating the ecosystem service. So I think, I've said this all along, there are things which we can be doing. I think we need to have the political support and urge of action, if I can put it like that. And then I think we can really make mega strides to prevent certain risks, quite a lot of risks, and not wait any longer. As I said, the science and technology is ready. It needs to be put into an action plan, and action needs to be taken. We need to think about the scale. So your question was also, is it applicable everywhere? No, I think Jeremy said that. I think it was expressed by my neighbor as well, by the mayor. So, but the scale is important. Which scale can we decide quickly enough to do certain things? And that's something that we really need to do. So I would say, Incheon, look at all the options, take an overall look at where you want to put some, well, which are the priorities in preventing mega risks. Is it health? Is it CO2? What? Is it sea level rise? And then put that in your roadmap, and then using the best available technology, which will also be nature-based, work. Do it.
Okay, thank you, Dima.
I think a more logical question from me is not about what Incheon should do in facing global risk, but instead what city of Incheon can possibly assist the rest of the cities in the regions. We admire how the government of Incheon anticipate the global risk by, focusing on the issue of education as well as the building infrastructures, which is, friendly for climate change. I had very interesting conversations with the mayor of Incheon yesterday. We possibly could have some sort of cooperations in focusing on exchange research, conducting collaborations between our universities, joint research in facing the mega risk, and also in improving the capacity building of our government official, for example. Thank you.
Thank you, Yunchul.
Um, okay, that is also very much practical question how to view the future vision of Incheon City. But I'm not talking about why the Incheon metropolitan city. I want to talk about the Songdo, this area. Um, the the first day I stayed in the hotel, I opened the curtain in the morning. I was so amazed to see the scene, the ocean, sea there, and some stream there, and some spotted green space and apartment. It's really beautiful to me. So the first day I saw that, oh, it's amazing. This is Incheon City kind of future of our city development. But the next day I saw the same scene, and I thought that something missing there. In such a beautiful city, this is actually designed city from nothing. It used to be sea, but it's a landfill. We designed and built a city. So this is a human development plan. But I thought that there is a very important thing missed. So my question is the people living there happy? So that is my question. Because they built the city as a smart city, focusing on convenience and automation, they, they dreamed the auto cars in the street and everything is automated. So the slogan probably everything on the tip, on our fingertip. So they dreamed people do not move, do not have any exercise, just stay there, but move, operating everything. That is the idea of a smart city. But my question is, people living such a space are really happy? So that is my question. So we need to build the own another strategy because our goal to thrive or flourish is happy life, good life, not automation itself, not convenience itself. So we need to develop city centering on health and safety. That is important foundation for our better life, healthy life, good life. But I think still there's a missing part in this area. So, but we need to technology, we need to build smart city, but we need to get idea of health and safety in the center. That is a smarter city idea. So that is the fundamental talk of this forum.
Okay, thank you very much, Yunchul. Well, I was going to open the floor for several questions from the audience, but our time's, I think, up. I don't want to delay the subsequent ceremony of the declaration of Incheon City. So perhaps I'd like to ask our panelists to give us the closing remark, 1 minute closing remark for each. Jeremy?
You know, every time I'm with my friends in Korea, I'm energized. I really mean this. I so admire your culture. Uh, you're really a real good example of what can be done in other places. You know, here's one of the poorest countries in the world after World War II and the Korean War. Now you're a world leader, and you have such talent. And I always wondered why Korea is so successful. And the conclusion I came to, you've had a lot of bad history in the past where you've been occupied, colonized, undermined, and you've been able to maintain your culture, your identity, your sense of cooperation and empathic engagement with each other. I see it every time that I visit with you. So I think that you have a real opportunity here to be a very vital force in the world as we move to this age of resilience. And particularly your young people, they're dedicated, they're concerned, they're caring, they're empathic. So I just enjoy the time. It energizes me to be with folks like you on these occasions. So I want to thank all of you for doing what you do.
Okay, thank you. Colin?
Well, again, let me thank you and everybody here to attend this forum. I think it's the first, but not the last. I do hope so, because these are the type of interdisciplinary discussions we need, um, hopefully followed by action. And I think if this forum can be now a push towards action, I think that would be a good idea. So that's my first class plea for action, and perhaps Incheon could be a leader in that, in showing how you can implement certain issues. Secondly, I think what I've said before, I think we should have a happy city, which makes happy people, and we should have more emphasis on that also in the smart city. I get sometimes the impression, and when I go to other cities, I have the same impression, that the city is a kind of living organism itself. So the buildings and the stones are have a function and are the skeleton of a city, and then you have like people doing things there and going back to their homes. I think somewhere we need to think about stepping back. Perhaps it's my European background that does this, but stepping back and making it a cozy, healthy city. And that can be done by reintroducing, and coming back to the same thing, for example, nature-based solutions, as I suggested. So I hope that Incheon can be a kind of living lab to try and do these things, to show to the world we can do it better. These 70% of the world population, which in 30 years will live in coastal cities, will have benefits, or will get benefits from the living lab that Incheon could be. So that would be my closing remark and my wish for the future.
Okay, thank you, Bima.
Well, I think what we have been enlightened by this conference for the last few days is actually the sense of urgency. This forum is actually sending a clear message to the world that our world is not in a good conditions. We are facing a very complicated challenge ahead, and there is no country or cities who can solve it all alone. So collaborations is a magic word, and I do hope that this conference will continue in, as a melting pot for different kind of perspective, multidisciplinary approach, and also multi-actors involvement in this conference. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Yunchul.
I would like to use my closing opportunity. Just 1 minute because so. I'd like to give my special thanks to my fellow panelists and also the Jeremy Rifkin. Actually, he is joining in the very early morning in Washington. This is not easy time for him to join, um, uh, considering the everything. So I'd like to give a special thanks to Dr. Rifkin, and also want to give my thanks to audience attending this forum and this session too. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, once again, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to the 4 panelists this morning for joining us for the round table. Particularly Jeremy, thank you very much for joining us in such an early morning. I didn't know about
Thank
that.
you for inviting me. I need to thank you.
Okay, and I hope all of you enjoyed the round table. Did you? No? Yeah? Yes, okay. And I look forward to seeing you all here at the same place next year to continue our dialogue about the betterment of our planet and the humanity. So thank you very much, and we will be back.
Thank you very much. Please give a big round of applause to President Tae Jun-han and all the panelists who brilliantly concluded the final session of the first forum. So let's give them another big hand. So thank you very much, and you may return to your seats. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the closing ceremony. And it is at this point that I would like to extend our gratitude to our keynote speaker for the opening ceremony, again, Dr. Jeremy Rifkin, and our keynote speaker for the closing ceremony, Professor Colin Jansen. We also extend our heartfelt appreciation to Professor Hong Yun-chol, the executive director of the forum, who took full responsibility for the preparation and execution of the event, as well as Dr. Bima Arya Sugiarto, the mayor of Bogor City, who led a delegation of 30 representatives all the way from Indonesia to participate at this forum. So once again, let's give them all a resounding applause. Now, as the first part of our closing event, we would like to proceed with the World Health City Forum Academia Competition Award Ceremony. This competition and award ceremony have been specially organized based on the consensus of the organizing committee to actively incorporate the thoughts and ideas of the youth who are the driving force behind the future of cities and society into the forum. Korean university students have contributed various ideas to ensure the safety, health, and sustainability of future cities. And among them, we have selected 6 final works to be awarded. So first, we will watch a video introducing the competition process and the winning works, and then proceed with the award ceremony. So ladies and gentlemen, take a look. passion of these young people by just watching this video. And I have to say, the ideas are spectacular. And now we will soon begin with the award ceremony. All right, it looks like we are ready. I would like to introduce the young leaders who will be responsible for creating safer, healthier, and more sustainable cities in the future. So please give them a big round of applause as our award-winning teams come up onto the stage. All right, as they come up onto the stage, let's give them another big hand. And the awards will be presented by Dr. An Myung-ok, an organizing committee member of the forum. Dr. An is the former chairman and CEO of the National Medical Center and a former member of the National Assembly. Dr. An is fully dedicated to advancing public health and medical care in South Korea. So let's welcome her with a warm round of applause. We will now proceed with the award ceremony for the Smart Health City competition. The awardees will receive certificates and cash prizes. The awards will be presented in the following order: 3 teams for the Excellence Award, 2 teams for the Outstanding Achievement Award, and 1 team for the Grand Award. The announced teams, please come forward to receive your awards. So first, we will present the awards for the Excellence Award to 3 teams. So the first team is Team Wat Terminal. Congratulations! Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations. So this award goes to Wat Terminal. So let's give them another big round of applause. The award is being presented by Dr. An Myung-ok. Okay, let's give him another big hand. And now you may look at the front camera for a commemorative photo. Okay, smile big into the camera. Thank you very much. And the next team is Team Jangyeong-sil. Congratulations! Let's give them a huge round of applause. Once more, congratulations to Team Jangyeong-sil. All right, let's look into the camera for a commemorative photo. Yes, it would be great if you continue to applaud them. Thank you very much. And the third team is Sustainable Applications in Architectural Design. Congratulations. Congratulations to Team Sustainable Applications in Architectural Design. And another commemorative photo. All right, thank you very much, and congratulations again to the 3 teams. We are now going to move on to present the awards for the Outstanding Achievement Award for 2 teams. And the first award goes to Team Lighthouse Road. Congratulations. Let's give them a big round of applause. Again, a warm congratulations to Lighthouse Road. Let's give them another big round of applause. Thank you very much. And let me announce the second team for the Outstanding Achievement Award, which is Team Policy Barrow. Congratulations. Let's give them a big, big round of applause. Congratulations to Team Policy Barrow. And now please, let's take another commemorative photo and smile big into the camera. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we have the final award left, which is the prestigious The Grand Award, which will be given to just one team. And the winners of the Smart Health City Idea Contest will be awarded a remarkable prize of 5 million won. So, let me announce the winner. The award goes to Team Meta Movers. Congratulations! Let's give them a huge round of applause. Team Meta Movers is the winner of the grand prize of the Smart Health City Idea Contest. Congratulations. Let's continue to give them a big round of applause. And please smile big into the camera for this special moment. And let's continue to applaud them for this special day. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all teams. And we would now like to have a photo with all of the teams together. So please move to the center. 네, 다 함께 기념 촬영을 하도록 하겠습니다. 가운데로 다 모여주시면 되겠습니다. So we will first take a photo. 네, 먼저 기념 촬영을 다 함께 하고 그 다음에 소감 듣도록 하겠습니다. 네, 한 줄 혹은 두 줄로 한 줄로 서도 괜찮을 것 같은데요. 네, 얼굴 잘 보이게 잘 서 주시고, 네, 환한 미소로 카메라를 정면에 있는 카메라를 바라봐 주시고 하나, 둘, 셋. Okay, let's smile big into the camera and let's give them a big round of applause. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, I think a few more photos, okay. And now I think our audience would love to hear how our winner team of the grand prize feels right now. So why don't we hear the acceptance speech from the award-winning team, Meta Movers.
I didn't think of it, but thank you for giving us the grand award. And our team, Metaverse, thought that technology that can create a sustainable society and relieves citizens' discomfort is the most important thing in approaching smart cities. And we propose this idea for society where all citizens, regardless of whether they are disabled or non-disabled, live together. So we hope that our idea can contribute to smart health cities. Once again, thank you for this great hour. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And also, I think it is because of young people like these that the future looks brighter. Don't you think so? Let's give them another big hand. And let us also ask our award presenter, Dr. An Myung-ok, to share her thoughts on presenting these valuable awards.
Good morning, distinguished delegates and ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm being honored to be a award presenter here, but majority of our award winners and then the lots of audience backside is in Koreans. So from now on, I'm going to speak in Korean for a while. 안녕하십니까, 안명옥입니다. 오늘 제가 한마디만 더 영어로 할 건데 this forum, this year, majority of award winners and application members are Koreans, but probably from next year and then year by year that I'd like to have more application from all over the world. And then from now on, I'm going to speak in English for a while. 안녕하십니까, 안명옥입니다. 오늘 이렇게 정말 자랑스러운 우리 수상자들께 진심으로 축하의 말씀을 드립니다. 그리고 우리 지금 오늘 포럼의 주제가 위험의 세계화, 이러한 상황이 지속적으로 전개되고 있고, 그리고 또 어떻게 이 세계를 더 안전하게 만들 것인가, 이러한 것은 그 고민은 점점 더 복잡한 난제가 되어가고 있습니다. 그런데 오늘 보니까 우리 이렇게 미래 세대들이 거침없이 도전하고 거침없이 또 빛나는 성과를 이루어서 이렇게 상을 받게 된 것에 대해서 정말 자랑스러운 마음이고, 또 아마도 우리 미래 세대들은 앞으로 이 세상을 더욱더 건강하고 안전하고 그리고 행복한 사회와 그리고 도시를 만들어 갈 것이라고 제가 확신하게 되었습니다. 네, 오늘 여기 뒤에 정말 많은 한국에서 참여자들도 와 계시기 때문에 제가 한 가지 오늘 좀 말씀드려야 되겠다라고 조금 전에 생각을 했는데, 우리 5,000년 역사에 면면이 이어온 홍익인간, 그것은 우리나라의 건국이념이자 교육의 목표인 교육 이념이에요. 그래서 이 세상을 널리 이롭게 한다는 이 홍익인간은 오히려 지금 위기의 시대에 더욱더 새롭게 계승하고 발전해 나가야 할 그런 개념이라고 생각하고, 또 그 홍익인간을 매일매일 생활에서 여러분들이 행동하고 실천해 나가는 미래 세대가 될 것임을 오늘 이 자리를 빌어서 제가 더 확신하게 되었습니다. 그래서 다시 한번 여러분들 미래 세대에 제가 정말 사랑과 정성을 담아서 열렬히 응원합니다. Let's give them award winners today. Give them a big hands, please. And lastly, I'd like to express my cordial and heartfelt appreciation to all of you, and especially who came from long distance to attend this precious and very important forum today. And then I hope you have a great time and happy times here in Incheon and Korea, and have a nice and healthy and safe flight and trip back to your homeland and hometown. Thank you so much. Give them a big applause one more time. Thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those warm, hopeful messages by Dr. An Myung-ok. So let's give her another big round of applause. And again to our award winners. And you may now return to your seats. And we will now watch the video once more for those who might have missed it, that introduces our award winners project. So ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screen once more. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, we will proceed to the Incheon Declaration ceremony, the highlight of today's closing ceremony. Sharing the concerns and goals of the Ottawa Charter in 1986, the Incheon Declaration was written by the speakers and experts of the World Health City Forum, taking into account new changes and challenges that affect individual and social health, such as pandemics, climate crisis, and aging population. The Incheon Declaration is a warning and concern of the participants of the forum about complex crises that threaten the safety and health of humanity. It is also a proposal and demand for crisis response. The Incheon Declaration will evolve from a declaration to an agreement and eventually to a charter that we all must comply with. We will now begin this meaningful event that we have all prepared together and which marks the first public announcement of the Incheon Declaration to both domestic and international audiences. So now let's commence the announcement of the Incheon Declaration.
There are places in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. And this place could be much brighter than tomorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Be the one, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care enough for the living. Make a better place for you and for me.
And it would be even more meaningful if now all the speakers who participated in the Incheon Declaration come up to the stage and join the event with the choir singing for the healing of the world. So please come up onto the stage. And in the meantime, I'm going to introduce who is going to join us for this special moment as our esteemed participants get on the stage along with the choir. 네, 인천 선언문에 함께 해주신 모든 분들께서 지금 무대로 올라와 주시면 되겠습니다. So for the declaration, we are being joined by Kim In-mi, President of Ewha Women's University, who's also the chair of the organizing committee of the World Health City Forum. And also Stefania A. Cormier, Weiner Endowed Chair and Professor of Louisiana State University. And we're also joined by Im Taek, Gwangju Dongbu Mayor, the chair of Korea Health Cities Partnership, who are the representatives for the declaration. And also in this Incheon Declaration, 3 first-grade elementary students will be joining us. These students are participating in the Children's Environmental Health Birth Cohort, organized by the Ministry of Environment of the Republic of Korea to conduct long-term tracking studies on the causal relationship between environmental hazardous substances and children's health. In other words, the bodies of these children are accumulating records of the interactions between humanity, the environment, and the earth. The Incheon Declaration represents the commitment and promise of adults for the healthy future of these children. So, ladies and gentlemen, as they are coming up onto the stage, now please welcome the children and the speakers with a big round of applause. And now please announce the declaration.
The Incheon Declaration, Cities for Health. The world's population is increasingly urbanized. Cities are growing. This provides opportunities to create urban environments that support health and well-being. City leaders, communities, and citizens have the opportunity to apply new knowledge about social, psychological, and environmental determinants of health and to leverage new technologies. The growth of cities globally provides opportunities to reach an unprecedented number of people, helping them achieve better health outcomes for happy, fulfilled lives. As most future urban growth will take place in developing countries, the world today has a unique opportunity to guide urbanization and other major urban development trends in a way that protects and promotes health. This is important, not least because the health and well-being of citizens is perhaps a city's most important asset. However, the growth of cities also brings risks. The rising non-communicable disease burden, the persistent threat of infectious disease outbreaks, and an increased risk of violence and injuries are key public health concerns in urban areas. Pollution, social isolation, in particular for the aging population, substance abuse, mental illness, and other risks may accompany unmanaged urbanization. These health burdens fall especially on the urban poor, including those in informal settlements, poorly planned environments, or low quality accommodation. While urbanization has led to improved average health outcomes, rising inequalities have allowed serious disease to persist. We, the signatories to this declaration, believe that deliberate strategic action is necessary to capture the opportunities of the growing urbanization of the world's population and to turn the tide of growing inequality so that inequalities fall as cities grow. We believe that cities can be part of the solution to global health challenges. Investments in health-based urban and territorial planning secure long-term health and well-being legacies for a growing proportion of humans. Smart technologies can be deployed in hitherto unimagined ways to reduce infectious disease risks, improve air quality, evaluate individual risk factors, manage stocks and flows of resources such as water and energy, and for other as yet unconceived risk purposes. Cities are complex systems providing the opportunity to go beyond the concept of health and well-being as solely an individual level concern and treat health issues holistically across different sectors and scales of intervention. Human and environmental health can be fully integrated into the planning and development of energy, transportation, housing, agriculture, commercial, educational, and entertainment sectors. As cities grow, it becomes possible to address growing disparities and the unequal access to vital resources necessary for health and well-being. The transformation will require innovative leveraging of technology, creative financing, generating and working with evidence and positive collective action to envision and build just, sustainable, resilient, and people-centric urban futures. Its success will depend on strong leadership of city governments, partnerships, community engagement, and participatory approaches. We call on academia, civil society, national and local governments, private sectors, and international organizations to commit to the following principles, goals, and actions. Incheon Principles. Cities should develop according to the following principles. 1. Health, equity, fairness, and social justice in health opportunities and health care provision. 2. Participatory governance for inclusive health, safety, and resilience. 3. Ecological, low-carbon sustainability in urban environments. 4. Disaster resilience and preparedness for multimodal adverse events. 5. Harnessing data-driven intelligence for smart, healthy cities. 6. Share information, data, and experiences with other cities. Actions. Leaders at all levels, communities and citizens should take the following actions. 1. Establish health equity indicators and commit to time-indexed goals. 2. Develop and publish participatory governance mechanisms in relation to health for city inhabitants, regardless of official, legal, or immigratory status. 3. Establish and publish sustainability plans for energy, food, water, medical, and other needs. 4. Establish and publish plans for multimodal disasters covering pandemics, heat waves, floods, earthquakes, blackout, water shortage, food shortage, and/or other contextually relevant risks, including combinations thereof. 5. Digital health strategies. 6. Establish and participate in open data and narrative sharing platforms. The Incheon Declaration is our call to action, heralding a renewed commitment to global health risk prevention, management, and preparedness through the opportunities presented by urbanization.
With that, the Incheon Declaration has been announced. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And now we will proceed with signing the declaration. So we will have President Kim In-mi, Professor Stefania Cormier, and Mayor Im Taek to sign as representatives of the forum's participants. So please sign the declaration. All right, let's give them a big round of applause. May the Incheon Declaration become a meaningful milestone for humanity and all living beings living striving together on Earth to create a sustainable future. So let us all join in signing the Incheon Declaration with a big round of applause.
Make a better place for you and for me. Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race.
And with that, the Incheon Declaration has been signed.
If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for
Thank you very much. And now to commemorate the successful hosting of the first World Health City Forum and to celebrate the Incheon Declaration, I'd like to ask Incheon Metropolitan City Mayor Yoo Jung-bok, who is also the chairman of the forum, and the organizing committee members to come up to the stage for a group photo. 네, 1회 포럼의 성공적인 개최와 또 인천 선언을 기념하기 위해서 유정복 대회장을 비롯한 조직위원들도 무대 위로 올라와 주셔서 다 함께 기념 촬영을 하도록 하겠습니다. So please come up onto the stage. All right, it looks we have everyone for the photo on the stage. So please look at the front, at the camera. 우리 아이들이 다 보일까요? All right, let's all smile into the camera together. How about I say World Health and you say City? 제가 월드 헬스 하면 시티 하면서 환한 미소 지어주시면 되겠습니다. 월드 헬스 시티. And this time let's applaud together. 이번엔 다 함께 박수를 치면서 기념 촬영 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. Let's clap together. Let's applause. 네, 무대 위에 계신 분들 모두 함께 힘찬 박수로 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. Let's end with a big round of applause. Everyone on the stage for the last photo. Okay, thank you very much. You may leave the stage. 네, 감사합니다. 이제 모두 자리로 돌아가 주시면 되겠습니다. Thank you very much. You may leave the stage. So with that, the Incheon Declaration has now been concluded. Thank you to all of our participants. And we would also like to give a huge round of applause to the Incheon Wizard Children's Choir, who provided beautiful harmony for the Incheon Declaration. So finally, the first World Health City Forum has come to an end, and we bid farewell and look forward to seeing you again at the second forum in 2024. Now, Mayor Yoo Jung-bok of Incheon Metropolitan City, who is the chairman of the forum, will give the closing remarks. So let's bring him up to the stage once more with a big round of applause.
여러분 안녕하십니까? 월드 시티 포럼 대회장을 맡은 대한민국의 인천광역시장 유정복입니다. 포럼을 시작하는 날 저는 이 자리에서 20개 나라에서 와주신 참가자 여러분께 감사 말씀을 전한 바 있습니다. 지난 2박 3일 동안 50여 개가 넘는 세션에서 우리는 세계화된 위험에 맞서 어떻게 더 건강하고 안전하게 지속 가능한 미래를 만들 것인가를 두고 열띤 토론과 격렬한 논쟁을 벌였습니다. 당면한 문제를 고민하고 규칙을 도출하면서 해결책을 찾기까지 모든 일정에 함께해 주신 여러분 관심과 열정에 다시 한번 진심으로 감사드립니다. 조금 전에 우리는 인천 선언을 공식 채택했습니다. 지금은 미래 세대를 위해 건강한 생활 방식과 환경을 증진하고 유지하기 위해 집단적 지식과 지혜를 활용해야 할 때라고 촉구했습니다. 저는 앞으로 월드 시티 포럼을 인류의 지속 가능한 미래를 만들기 위한 글로벌 소통 플랫폼으로 성장시킬 것을 여러분께 약속합니다. 우리가 만나기까지 그동안 지구촌 곳곳에서 전쟁과 팬데믹, 극심한 기후위기라는 큰 난관이 있었습니다. 여러분과 함께 이러한 난관을 고민하고 인류의 지속 가능한 미래를 위해 함께 토론할 수 있어서 매우 기쁘게 생각합니다. 이곳 인천에서 내디딘 발걸음이 위험의 세계화를 넘어서 희망과 연대의 세계화로 이어지게 되길 희망합니다. 나아가 지구촌 모든 생명체가 조화롭게 공존하고 번영하는 새로운 문명 개척의 첫걸음이 될 것이라고 기대합니다. 이제 우리는 각자의 자리로 돌아가겠지만 인류의 공동선을 향한 연대와 협력의 최전선에서 다시 또 만나게 될 것입니다. 내년에도 인천에서 건강한 얼굴로 다시 만나 뵙게 되길 바랍니다. 모두 수고하셨습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much for your meaningful closing remarks. And as you said, we hope that this forum will expand into a more bigger global event. Let's give Mayor Yoo Jung-book another big round of applause. And thank you very much for joining us at the first World Health City Forum. We hope that you had a productive and a valuable time. We are deeply grateful to everyone who attended and helped create a platform for the heated discussions and global solidarity. Your contributions have been instrumental in promoting a resilient, sustainable, and better future for society and cities. We sincerely thank you all for making this meaningful event until the very end. So we look forward to seeing you again at the next World Health City Forum, where we will invite various leaders from all around the world to share their insights and visions for a more fruitful and innovative forum. So please, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for you to enjoy your lunch and also have more pleasant conversations and connections. Thank you very much. This has been your MC, Suwa Kwon. Thank you.